Cat Quiz is back with even more excitement today. We are diving into a world of superpowers and iconic character with Guess the Superhero by Emoji. And now, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Let's start the game with an easy level. Let's go save the day together. Here we can go. Here's your first emoji. Who's this? The answer is Ant-Man. Next up. Ready for another one? Who's this? The answer is Captain America. Next up. Next up. Who's this? Of course, it's Spider-Man. Next up. Here's one for the Warriors. Who's this? You got it, it's Batman. Next up. Try this one. Who's this? That's right. It's Thor. Next up. How about this one? Who's the hero? It's Iron Man. Next up. Here's a shocking one. Who's this? Correct. It's Deadpool. Next up. Feeling green? Who's this? It's the Hulk. Next up. Next. Who's this? That's the mighty Hellboy. Next up. Let's keep going. Who's this? It's Red Skull. Next up. Medium level start. It's time to step up your game. Ready for more? Who's this? The answer is Hawkeye. Next up. Quick one here. Who's this? It's the Captain Marvel. Next up. And finally, who's this? That's Magneto. Next up. Ready for another one? Who's this? Of course, it's Star-Lord. Next up. Try this one. Who's this? That's right, it's Aquaman. Next up. The answer is Winter Soldier. Next up. The answer is Professor X. Next up. The answer is Valkyrie. Next up. The answer is Black Widow. Next up. Alert everyone. It's time to play hard level. The answer is Iron Fist. Next up. Ready for another one? Who's this? 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 Next up. 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 Ready for another one? Who's this? Next up. Ready for another one? Who's this? Next up. Next up. Next up. How did you score? Let us know in the comments and challenge your friends to beat your score. Thanks for playing. Which superhero is your favorite? Let us know. Great job. Don't forget to share your score and try again to get them all right.